Okay guys, so in today's video, I'm gonna show you guys how I changed my Civic's interior lighting. So, let's go. Now, for those of you who don't know, I'm Jay and this is Project GoodSpeed, and on today's video, we're gonna talk about lighting on the little hatchback. Now, in a previous video, I actually changed out my dash lights here for some pretty cool ice blue ones. Check them out. And I think they look really dope. I also added a blue cabin light. However, that one is a different story, and I'll get into that later on. Now, the lights that came stock in the little Civic are these dull yellow filament lights here, and they light up the cabin fine, but you know, compared to what a light is supposed to do, it's really not up to par. And I'll throw in some B-roll here so you guys can see what I'm talking about, and if you think I'm being picky, well then you are correct. But it's for a reason. These lights rarely get turned on, right? So if I do need to turn it on, it's because I need to turn it on. And the last thing that I want is to turn on the light and find out I still can't see shit, which is part of the reason I'm doing the whole video today. Imagine trying to, access your trunk area, right, on the side of the road, and this is what you are looking at, right? My hand, nothing there, okay? So that's not that bad. Here's with a wide angle lens so you guys get a better view of what I'm looking at, because if I were to be pulled over on the side of the road, I can't really see much. And for reference, this is my light from my iPhone. Now, the lighting of the car is one of those things that's really not all that important until one day it is, right? And a few weeks ago, I had an issue just like that, and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. Okay, so I noticed the other day, my inner taillights aren't working. The little hatchback has two sets of taillights, right? The outer and inner. You guys can see here, right there in the corner, the little red. You can see it turns on, turns yellow. That means the light is turning on, but the other inner one isn't turning on. It's kind of strange because I replaced all the bulbs, so it's not the bulbs. I even rotated these specifically just to see if I had a bad connection, but I don't think that's the case, so oh boy. So I have removed my entire panel back here, and I still can't find any sign of a break. Oh. It is the freaking bulb. You guys clearly saw that. I didn't change anything. It was just the bulb the whole time, and I did this for nothing. Oh, great. This is why I hate electrical stuff. Oh, you guys have no idea how much time I spent on this stuff. Yes! Finally! Got it on. They're not that bright though. You know, this is why you don't overlook the simple stuff. And I was over here about to break apart my entire freaking dashboard just to try to find a issue that didn't exist. Oh well. Now, the taillights and the headlights are a whole different story, I understand, right? Because they actually serve a purpose, and for one, you can get a ticket if it's not right. So for today, we're just going to be taking a look at the interior lights, because these are a bit more technical and probably require a more in-depth video. And today, we're just going to have a little fun with the interior lights. Now, like I said earlier, these dual filament lights that came stock on the Honda just aren't doing it for me, so we're going to be replacing them. The LED upgrades for the cabin light here are based off a 31mm bulb, and they have a lot of options online. You can get them in pretty much any color, and I went with an ice blue option just because I like the way that color looks. I think silver and blue make a nice combo. Now, I know for a fact I can force a 31mm bulb that was supposed to go in the cabin light into the cargo light. I know that. I've tried it and it works. However, the little connectors are too close to the plastics, and trust me, these bulbs get hot. So the last thing I want to do is, shove a light in there and have the plastic get too hot and then eventually start a fire just because I didn't like the way a bulb looked. The icy blue LED style upgrade that I chose, and you can check out that other video if you want a little bit more in depth on how I went about doing that, is great for the little hatchback. However, because I can't find that cargo light, it really bothers me having two different color styles, right? I'll have a blue, and then that dull yellow, which is gonna bother me. Now, in another video, I actually installed that rear cargo light setup, and it really wasn't all that hard, and you can check that video out if you want. And I thought I could do something similar, right? If one dull yellow light was not bright enough, maybe I can add more. And I had to do that using an add a fuse feature, which is basically just you take one fuse out of your dash and basically install two in its place. One for the existing accessory and one for the new one. And I thought I could do something similar here with some scrapyard bulbs that I got from an Accord here. And I made this little wiring harness, just pretty straightforward. Just two wires. One would go into the add a fuse feature, and the other one is a ground. However, I couldn't get it to work because that light housing is different than this light housing. So basically this one only has two features, on or off. No third or in between. That one, however, can turn on and off on its own with a switch, and at the same time turn on when one of the doors is opened. And when I combined it with this wiring, everything just went haywire. Essentially, I got either only one light on or both of them off. I couldn't get them all three to come on. I could have added a relay, which could have solved this issue. However, it would have been a little bit more in-depth, and I'd have to cut up the interior trim, and it's just a little bit more hoops that I had to jump through. So I really didn't do all that, and I kind of just brushed that aside. What I could have also done is I could have just ignored my current setup there and just added another set of lights that just turn on and off whenever I want them to. And for that, I was going to use these LED car lights that I found on Amazon. And you guys can see, basically, they're a little bit more subtle and really don't require you to cut so much, but I wanted to go with an OEM fitting style, and this was just a backup option. Not that expensive. They are pretty bright. And that's an option you guys can take, right? Just order some lights online, make up a harness like I did, which really didn't take that long. It was just a few wires really, and I just made it look pretty with a wire loom, and I was just gonna wire that through the Civic, through one of these body panels, and just put it places where I can see the light. But that was gonna take a little bit longer, and I thought I could probably take a shortcut by just replacing the bulbs first. Now, the cabin light there has some pretty great options that you can find, and they're pretty easy to find. However, the rear cargo light is a little bit smaller, if you guys can see, and this one is a lot harder to find. Now, these here are called universal festoon adapters, I believe, and they basically take the place of the bulb because this one here has a range that it could fit, and they definitely fit the little bulb as well as the big one. And it also comes with these other adapters that you can use on different bulbs. I think this is probably for the tail lights, as you guys know from earlier, and this one here is probably for the license plate light or something. I don't know, but the options are there to change them out if you ever wanted to. And these bulbs here, basically you have like multiple backups. Just off of that right there, I've got two different options to try out, and I'm not gonna lie, a third one I wanted to try out was the mood lighting, right? And that changes with like if you can set it up with the music or just one color set all the time. I did want to try that out, however, it's a little bit more expensive, and I thought I'd give this one a shot first and see how I'm feeling with that. And maybe later on in the future, I'll install one of those mood lighting kits. And as far as the blue cabin light that I installed a long time ago, let me tell you guys why I didn't really ended up liking it, because it is like too blue, honestly. Even the light shade of blue that it is, over time, it just strains your eyes, and everything in the back and in the car eventually just ends up looking blue. It's pretty bright. A little too blue for my taste, but not bad. Feels like I'm in a club. That's basically it. It's just that blue cabin light, didn't really like it all that much. It's a little harsh on the eyes and basically changes the hue of everything in your interior to that color. Now, I'm gonna show you guys here the results of what I found by changing out those three other ones. And I'm gonna preface this by saying that it's not all that different, but I preferred one over the other two options. Now I'm gonna show you guys here the stock OEM bulbs, and as you can see, they don't look that appealing. I mean, there's nothing wrong with them, but they're just not really all that bright, a little bit too much yellow going on, and just all around boring look for the hatchback. And I tried them out also in the day, just so you guys get a better view of how bright they actually are, because trust me, at nighttime, these bulbs are not that bright. And a bright bulb in the daytime is for sure bright at night. So just for reference, I took a daytime shot. Now that being said, there's nothing wrong with these OEM bulbs, honestly. They'll light up everything just fine. It's maybe not a little too bright, and anything below your knees, you're not gonna be able to find. And I feel like at this point, I probably should mention, I did try out the blue LED strip and the blue bulb, and I kind of combined the two just because the LED strip couldn't fit in the cargo area just because it was too big. However, they do have options for smaller ones, and I really didn't see a difference. And I compared all three of them together. I basically just switched out all the bulbs right next to my harness that I made, thinking I was gonna use it, but didn't end up using it anyway. And as you guys can see, the blue LED strip and the blue bulb are pretty much just as bright as the white LED bulb. So I thought I could go ahead and use the blue bulb along with the blue strip because the blue strip did not fit in the cargo area. Now, the LED bulbs here are pretty cool, at least I think, and I'm talking about the blue ones. They give the little hatchback here a more vibrant look. They're definitely brighter, and because of my color scheme, they definitely match the dashboard better than the dull yellow ones. I think the ice blue theme matches pretty well with the silver color hatchback that I got going on here, and even in the daylight here, you can see they look pretty bright, and they even light up the cargo area very well. However, as I mentioned before, the blue tone of the color can get really straining for your eyes, and sometimes it isn't all that pleasant looking around for things, right? Your eyes get tired, and it makes it a little hard to focus when everything you see is blue. You kind of can't see the subtle differences in whatever you're looking for if everything looks the same color. Now, the white LEDs are also pretty cool. They are more than bright enough to, light up the cabin in both the day and nighttime. They don't really match my blue dashboard, however, and it's gonna bother me a little bit, but it's not too clashing, and at least I can see the colors of my interior. And if I happen to actually need the light, it's actually a light and not like a blue party rave light going on thing, because it's a little straining if I try to find stuff on the floor. And while the ice blue, I think, on the cabin really makes the little hatchback kind of more vibrant, the white LEDs definitely accentuate the interior. Everything looks a little bit more, it pops just a little bit more, and you can actually see the interior. And at least with the white LED, I can actually see things for what they really are. Okay guys, check it out. Final result. Look, it's pitch black outside, dark, no light. And there's the light. Look how bright that is. Look how bright that is back there. Man, this is the wide angle lens, and I was having a lot of trouble even showing you guys exactly how those OEM lights were, bright enough, because the wide angle lens just couldn't capture enough light. But with this one, check it out. Just gets brighter, darker, brighter, darker. And for the dashboard here, I also installed these cool little lights that go in the defroster here, and they basically just are these screw-in little bulbs, the same way as the cluster here, and you just twist them, and if you don't get them to light, just keep twisting them a little bit. And that's what I did. I just kept twisting it until it turned on, and eventually I got them to turn on. And if you guys are interested in those, I'll put the link in the description below. I think they're like T3 or something like that. Little light bulbs. I don't know, I can't remember, but I'll put them down there to check them out. Everything dims just the way it's supposed to. Anyway, here are some shots of what I got and the final results. So that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Take care and Goodspeed.